Dominic Bradford says he has permanent damage to his right eye after being tased in the face by a Robbins police officer. Now, the Robbins Police Department claims Bradford was hostile when he was asked to leave a convenience store. But Bradford believes the use of force was unjustified. The ABC 7i team has obtained video of the tasing incident that followed, and we want to warn you, some of the footage and images might be hard to watch.
I'll never look the same again or feel the same, quite frankly.
Dominic Bradford's right eyelid is stitched together after he underwent 4 surgical procedures. The Chicago man says he may never see out of this eye again after he was tased in the face by a police officer.
This is what my reality is now. I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
The incident happened on March 18th. The 22-year-old says he and his friends were on their way home from a sports bar and they stopped by a convenience store in Robbins. He says a store clerk thought he had recognized him.
That became a minor back and forth of, I think I've seen you. No, you haven't. I've never been here before. That's when I knocked on the glass for the item behind the counter.
Bradford says a Robbins police officer who happened to be in the store asked him to stop knocking on the glass. He says words were exchanged and he was asked to leave. Bradford says he followed orders and left. And that's where the officer's body cam video begins.
You come back up to the glass and you seem frustrated, upset. You seem to be yelling.
Well, I was frustrated, upset, being removed from an establishment for no reason.
In the video, you can see Bradford and his friends walking to their vehicle. The officer approaches and orders Bradford to get into the car.
Hey, you got 2 seconds to get in the car. You got 2.
Bradford's friends try to intervene and things escalate. Bradford is tased and then advances toward the officer.
Sit down. Sit down.
Bradford is tased a second time in the face. Moments later, the officer calls for backup and Bradford reemerges.
If there's anyone watching the body cam video and they say, if his behavior weren't the way it was, we wouldn't be here, what would your response be to that?
Sure, I'm not here to sugarcoat the fact that Dominic was angry, but he's outside the store. That's the key. He followed his command. Police officers, quite frankly, are trained to not emotionally react, particularly when they're not being placed in danger.
A Village of Robbins spokesperson says it does not comment on matters of litigation, but did say in part, quote, a Robbins police officer was engaged in an incident outside a local business with an individual in which the police body camera shows was irate and noticeably intoxicated during the exchange. All of which was in response to the owner of the local business requesting the officer to have the individual leave the store following a prior hostile exchange. An ambulance was called to the scene and Bradford was taken to the hospital.
It was difficult to view, so to see, like blood on his face, his eye almost hanging out of his head. No mother, no father, no parent should ever have to see their child in that situation.
Bradford and his attorney now suing the Village of Robbins and the officer who tased him. They believe the use of force was unjustified. Bradford denies being intoxicated on the night in question, maintaining he was upset that he had to leave the store after being misidentified by the clerk. I asked Bradford why he advanced at the officer after being tased the first time.
I was still in a mode of protection because I had just witnessed this officer push my friend out of the way in order to tase me. It was very intense and everything was happening super fast.
I feel confident in saying that video does not display his proudest moment. But in that video, I watched him and his friend walk away. So I don't understand why he pursued them.
I forgive you because I should. And the police department definitely needs to do better training.
The Robbins police officer in this incident has not been charged with a crime and is still with the police department. Bradford, who was tased, was not arrested or charged with a crime during this incident. The Robbins Police Department says its mission is to service the citizens of Robbins with a high level of integrity. They say they are cooperating with Illinois State Police to investigate this matter.
Because there's quite a few things that definitely went wrong here. I'm going to start with the fact that the drugs and alcohol definitely played a major role in this whole situation. He should have definitely just left. I understand when he left, He didn't leave right away when he was told to leave. He left out of anger. An argument started in the store, and then he was, I don't know, he probably was pushed out of the store. Whatever it was, he got out of the store. Was the officer wrong for following him? No, I don't think the officer was wrong for following him, because these officers are trained to make sure that everybody is safe. Regardless of what the situation is, they have to make sure that he get in a distance away from the location where he was escorted out from. Now, the guy, he wants to play Superman, right? He wants to push the female out of the way because, you know, whatever, she was trying to protect him. You should have just listened to that female and got your ass in that car. You would have been home safe. But you wanted to run your mouth because maybe your system was full of whatever it was. Now, was the police officer wrong for pointing that taser in your face? Yes, he was wrong for pointing that taser in your face, because a taser is not supposed to be deployed at any civilian's head. It's supposed to be something that's supposed to be deployed in the body area, not the head. The last thing about this whole situation is, I want to address the fact that he's mentioning that the officers need to be trained a little bit more. How is it that you can ask for somebody to be trained a little bit more and you're being
belligerent?
You're being crazy when it comes down to them giving you orders. If you listen, drugs and alcohol, just don't do it. A lot of people, they cannot control themselves after the fact. And anytime the cops come there, the cops are not there to be your friend. Yes, they are there to make sure that the situation is resolved, the area is safe, and everything of that nature is dealt with before they walk away from there. You went out that store, you took your black ass, and you went back to the door and you argued with that officer for whatever reason it was. You should have just left. Listen to those females sometimes and follow. You would have been good. Now you have one eye. I'm sorry to say that you do. My condolences to your eye, or whatever the case may be. But yes, the officer was wrong for shooting you in the eye. But at the point where he shot you at, was he aiming for your eye? Who knows?
I don't think so.
So.
I don't think so. Me personally, I mean, I want to take it from the top, right? The store owner or the store clerk, according to him, felt like he saw him before, right? And he was like, "No."
Not even then it should have been a discussion.
Nah, you didn't see me or whatever. And I think they asked him to pretty much leave.
Yeah.
And that's when, prior to that, he started tapping on the glass, and the cops heard him tapping on the glass.
Correct.
Like, okay. The store clerk misidentified you.
Correct.
But there's a way in which you carry yourself, right?
Yeah.
All he had to say was, "No, I'm sorry. I think it may be mistaken identity.
No,
No,
like
I'm new in the city. I've never been here." Politely.
Correct.
But a lot of times when you ask certain people certain things,
Yeah,
because
they
they're already
crazy.
right, they already have it in their mindset that they're being targeted.
Oh,
they
yeah.
become malicious and aggravated really quickly and hostile, right?
And this was the
And
case.
in this instance, it should have never escalated this far.
Correct.
Then you're asked to leave the store. What he fails to realize, I know he's 22 and it's still a lot to learn.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? But no business has to grant you service.
Correct.
If they ask you to leave, you have to leave.
Right.
If you don't leave, you stand a chance of being arrested once the cops show up.
Correct.
All right. So he leaves the store and then he's
Out
tapping
there.
on the door,
Right.
arguing from behind the door, just doing the most.
Right.
Of course, the cop is going to get aggravated because his job is to serve and protect.
And the fact that he told you once, you should come on.
Should've
Why is
left.
it? Why is it that
Right.
most people, human beings in general, right? They have to hear something more than once in order
Right.
for them to respond one time. You got to hear somebody tell you stop doing it, stop, 4 or 5 times before you respond one. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Like a 5-year-old.
Like, that's crazy. Why do y'all do that? If
It's
somebody's
ridiculous.
telling you to do something, stop one time. There's a reason why they're telling you to do it, because they know already that you are definitely getting out of order. You tapping on inside of the store, right? I understand that some of these stores, they have like the plexiglass because,
Yes.
you know, they've probably been robbed a few times or whatever, so
Right.
they don't want to be robbed no more. So they put up this plexiglass. Here you go banging on the damn window
Like a 2-year-old.
like a dummy,
Right.
and the cop tells you, yo, stop banging on the window. You turn around and get a cop like attitude. Like, you got all right to do what you're doing. You see a lot of
Doesn't.
when you play this thing back in your head, sometimes you kind of see where you went wrong.
Hopefully,
feel me?
you don't become a habitual offender. But the crazy thing about it is, was the cop wrong for shooting him in the face with the taser? I'm a little bit, you know what? Because, and the reason why I say that is because when you have on thick clothing,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
taser,
yeah. It doesn't
it's not
penetrate.
going to penetrate.
Right.
And as you saw, he came at,
He shot him the first time.
and
It didn't penetrate,
and
yeah.
he came after him like
Correct.
the almighty roaring lion
Correct.
or He-Man or something off the Thundercats.
Correct.
And it was just doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So at this point in time, the officer does not want to shoot him. So I think he's practicing restraint.
Correct.
Right? By continuing to deploy the taser.
Taser, correct.
You have on too much clothes. Where is there a space
To shoot you.
that there's flesh
He needs the flesh. Yeah.
in his face? Unfortunately,
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
If the cop had shot him in his stomach or in whatever thoracic region,
It would have had no
he would have
effect.
been wrong. So it's like, okay, he shoots him in the face, but then, like I said, it's an iffy type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
He had no business, in my opinion, walking towards the cop.
No,
That's
correct.
where he messed
Yeah.
up. The young lady was pushing him in the car because, unfortunately, she saw, something that
She wasn't.
something was
she
going to be
probably
blown out
wasn't-
of proportion.
She
And
probably wasn't as drunk as he was.
I don't. You see, and the thing about it is,
They
he
did,
says,
yeah.
according to him, he says that he was not intoxicated.
Lies.
He denies it to this day.
Lies.
Now,
They just
I don't
came out
know.
of a
They
sports
didn't do.
bar.
Well, here's the thing: you could come out of a sports
You're
bar
right. To an
non-inebriated.
extent. You're right.
So I don't know, but the thing is, right? The lady, she tried to get him away from this situation because she probably knew that it was going to blow up into something that did not
All
need
the
to go
time.
that far.
All the time.
And of course, he ignored, and unfortunately, he has to suffer the consequences. 22 years old, we as parents have to. We have to. Even though his mother said that, unfortunately, her son was not high. That was not his biggest moment, right? He wasn't highlighted in the biggest moment because he was acting out. We still have to teach our kids that even though they're not with us, because
Yeah.
of course at a certain age they're going to break off and do
Of
their
course,
own
and do
thing.
their own thing.
But they have to learn to be mature, responsible adults
Correct.
and learn how to figure out certain situations
Correct.
without escalating it. Because like I like to say, people on the outside, whether it be law officials, teachers, whomever you come encounter with,
Mm-hmm.
they're not your parents. They don't have to put up with your indecency or temper tantrums.
Correct.
Right? And
Correct.
it goes back to another thing that I always say. You do something, you cannot fault the other person for the way in which they react. It is what it is. Unfortunately, he ended up in this situation. I can only hope, and we keep our fingers crossed that he regains 100% vision in that eye.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a done deal with the eye,
I
though.
pray to God.
I think
He's
it-
underwent many surgeries, so
Because
I'm only hoping.
She said the eye was hanging out.
Right,
maybe,
but
maybe,
then-
maybe the force of the electricity kind of.
But then again, I mean,
Kinda
okay.
caused the eye to explode.
What I'm thinking is if she said the eye was hanging out, it could be a possibility that the eye was really swollen to the point where it kind of like pushed the lid back.
I don't know about
You know
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's unless it's
It's
coming
a
from like a
bunch of
medical
stuff.
standpoint,
Correct.
it's just gonna come from her basically saying what she saw.
Correct.
But nevertheless, something must be there. If not only they closed it shut, but they did multiple surgeries on it. So hopefully he's able to regain vision. But for all the youngins out there and some older people who don't know how to control their emotions,
Right.
let this video be a learning lesson and an
Correct.
example as to things could definitely go wrong once escalated. A lot of things in life does not have to reach to that point.
And for these parents, I urge you to stay on top of your kids. Make sure that they understand.
Right.
One time, you only have one time. Twice if you're lucky. Move on that first time. Somebody tell you to move, somebody tell you to stop, somebody tell you whatever it is that you're doing negatively wrong. Please adhere to that and make those changes.
Exactly.
Or else this is what's gonna happen. Once again, these cops, they're trained to do so many things while they're in the field. Dealing with your attitude should not be really one of them.
What really got me, and I'm gonna wrap this video really quick,
Correct,
y'all,
yeah.
because I know
'Cause
we don't want to
going
make
in.
it too
We going
long.
in.
But he said that officers need to be retrained.
Yeah, that's the part
And
that got me too.
I gotta be honest. Officers don't need to be retrained.
Right.
Yes, some of them do
Some of them
need a
do.
little
Some
retraining.
of
We
them
get
do.
that. But how about you take accountability and say that me, myself, and I need to be retrained
Right.
and learn how to deal with certain circumstances and issues as
Controlling
an
the
adult.
anger. Yeah,
And not
controlling
like
anger.
a child. You know what I'm saying? So my whole thing is this, my loves. From your opinion and standpoint, what else could the officer have done differently? And just quickly, It's not a race issue, so we can't
No,
call it
it's
racism
definitely
because
not.
the hands of the officer was black. So let's
Definitely
just
not.
get that out the way, all right?
Definitely not,
But
yeah.
let us know what you think about this video. Do you think the young man was in the wrong, or do you think the Robbins Police Department made a bad decision
Correct,
by,
ma'am.
you know, acting the way they did?
I know, because we've seen it a lot of times, and I'm sure y'all sick of it just like we sick of it too. So just hit us up in the comment section and let us know what's going on with it.